Hello, everybody. I have hit a little snag while trying to review these patch notes. They don't list them on their website. You can see here I'm doing a shift click, nothing. If I click in here, they do the... Oh, no, they've finally been updated. Jesus Christ. Okay, I was a bit worried because they were not on their website. They were only on Riot Flux's Twitter, which unfortunately was updated yesterday. So I didn't know if they had the actual patch notes or anything on them. So you can see they were here on his website. They were also on Reddit, but yesterday. So until just a minute ago at 5 p.m., there was nothing actually 100% confirming that this shit was live and it was going. Okay, so we're good. But wow, Riot should maybe be a bit faster with this information, don't you think? Anybody? Yeah. So let's then go through them. Okay, so Riot decided to do a mid-patch update, which means they are doing an update the week between, the week between when they would normally do patches. That's because, to my knowledge, there won't be a patch for 3 weeks, potentially 4 weeks. This is when they're doing the Christmas break. So the shitty balance we got is a shitty balance that we're gonna get. Anyway, so they are nerfing Dr. Mundo. Dr. Mundo is wreaking too much havoc in the top lane. To be honest, I somewhat have to agree with that one. His win rate went down a little bit since the last update, the last videos I've done. But even at Plat Plus, he's the 14th highest pick rate, 53 win rate. That's like Riven territory here. Only Riven is ever allowed to have those stats. So yeah, if we can see into Diamond, he still maintains a good win rate. Into Diamond 2 Plus, he is still maintaining a good win rate and pick rate. So a champion who is utterly dominant at the all ranks territory has been doing good all the way into being pickable, all the way into Masters, which is a bit excessive. And yeah, so I actually kind of have to agree with this one. I can't really complain about this because I've already done the complaining on his rework where they made it way too, focused on the low ranks and not focused enough on the higher ranks. And because of that, there's just been issues with that. As for the people asking, is this live? When I put live in the title, that means it is live. I don't know why this is the second time we're doing this and you guys cannot figure that out. Okay, use the brains. Good thinking, chat. Okay, so Gwen. See, this is why I'm going to show you this right now. This is why I didn't actually want to review these patch notes until they had something official. Because if we look at Gwen, they show her base health is going up 40, but they talked absolutely nothing about her health per level. So I was a bit worried I was going to have to use their Twitter notes or the Reddit version of the Twitter notes because they don't always do everything they're saying, or they do more than what they're saying. So yeah, that's why I was a bit worried we were gonna have to run off Twitter with this video. But it was 5 p.m. and this shit had already gone live at 5 p.m. They hadn't updated the official patch notes, and yeah, I was kind of sitting here like, fuck. Okay, so Dr. Mundo nerfed Gwen, base health up 40, health per level up 5. By the way, I'm complaining about this stupid system they have because this shit is ridiculous that I gotta go to a dude's Twitter account and I gotta look at their patch notes from the Twitter account, and it wasn't updated till 5:01 p.m. on the official website, despite being live in game. They hadn't updated their official website. So like, Gwen had health per level buffs and we didn't even know until 5:01 p.m. It's a little bit okay, anyway. So, yeah, Gwen, giant health buff, health per level buff. That's going to help Gwen a lot. Gwen tends to be overpowered, even if she reaches 48% win rate, 49%. Everyone bitches that Gwen's underpowered, when in reality, she is pretty playable at like a 45, 46% win rate and starts becoming dominant at 48, 49%. Whether or not you want to believe it, Gwen is an extremely unfun champion that nobody really learns how to play because they are extremely unfun. They're just not... I don't know. I've talked about this a billion times, and Gwen just isn't fun. Every time I play Gwen, it's just not fun. I don't know much more to say. So, Kaisa, and let me bust out Kaisa. So, Kaisa is much like Gwen. At 50% win rate, she tends to be overpowered, but she's currently at 46%. So, she could use... Even if I look at Plat Plus, yeah, she's still 47. So, she's still popular. She's still the 7th highest pick rate. So, I could imagine Riot giving her a little bit of a buff. And I'm hoping that's what they've done. That they've just given her a little bit of a buff on like one ability. Not like large buffs on 3 different abilities. Because that would be really bad. Fuck. And we're stuck with this patch for a month? God damn it. So, okay. Her passive, the on-hit damage, is going from 4 to 10 to 4 to 16. From 1 to 5 per level to 1 to 8 per level, per stack. From 10 to 20%, I think that's missing HP, to 15 to 25%. The physical damage per missile is going from... Yeah, the 40% bonus AD is becoming 50%. So that raises the max single target damage from 90% bonus AD to 112.5% bonus AD. The max devolved single target damage from 150% bonus AD to 187%. And the W evolved cooldown refund on champion hit from 70% to 75%. That's an extremely big deal because that, if you're removing 7% of the remaining 30% cooldown, this is a significant reduction to its cooldown when you hit somebody. Even though it only reads 7%, I know the American school systems have failed us, but this is actually a very large buff to AP Kaisa. So Kaisa, with these buffs, I'm imagining she's going to be at more... I mean, let's look at her old ranks. Her old ranks are currently... Where are you at, Kaisa? 47.86. So I'm imagining this champion's going to be more of a 49, maybe even 50%. So... yeah. I think it'll come out at 49%. I don't think it's going to make her turbo broken. I'm actually going to give my guesstimations. I think Mundo will still dominate the lower ranks because the lower ranks, shockingly, don't really give a fuck about base health regen. They don't really care about early game. The minimum damage on the Cleaver nerf, that one hurts. I'll give you that. Losing 20 minimum damage on the Cleaver hurts. That probably hurts every rank. So Dr. Mundo, I think he's going to be unplayable at the higher ranks. And we can see at the higher ranks, his win rate's like 49%. Yeah, he's 49% at Masters. At all ranks, he's up there at 54. I think he's still going to be overpowered at the lower ranks. And I think he'll be not playable at the high ranks. For Gwen, that is a significant buff to her early game. And if I'm looking at, let's look at Masters Plus. Gwen is, where are you at, Gwen? Where is Gwen? Gwen's the 15th highest pick with a 45. See, that's the thing. People always complain about Gwen's win rate. Gwen has 45% win rate, and she is still the 15th highest pick. People pick Gwen. That's the thing you don't realize. People are going to pick Gwen because she's actually kind of, she's actually strong. You just don't realize it. So this buff is going to be significant, obviously. 40 more health at rank 1. They would nerf a champion by 40 health in order to try to balance them. So an additional 5 per level, I mean, that's a lot. So I imagine this is going to be more of a 47, 48. I think she will very likely start ending in the top 10 pick rate. and I think she'll very likely start to probably see competitive picks, and yeah, probably maybe a nerf. Kaisa, I already said, probably 49, 48, high 49. I think what's going to happen, and this is just my opinion, I think what's going to happen is she won't be overpowered, but she's going to feel kind of shitty to fight again. You're going to go back to that Kaisa who evolves her Q and hits you with it, and all of a sudden your entire health bar is gone, and you're like, Kassadin. So they are nerfing Kassadin's reduced magic damage taken, and they are nerfing his Netherblade W. Now, I agree with these changes. I think Kassadin's base damage has been way too high for way too long. Let me actually explain this, everybody. I want to explain, because a lot of you guys don't get it. How can Kassadin's base damage be too high if his rank 1s are only 65, 70, what is that, 80? Like, this is all low damage, right? But the thing is, because the AP ratios are so high at 0.8, another 0.8, a 0.7, even the minor amounts of AP he gets from runes, from Adorn's Ring, early items, and Amplifying Tome, that AP ratio goes so far that he ends up actually having a good chunk of base damage. Particularly because, unlike other mages, he has bonus magic damage on hit. So whereas, let's say he's fighting a Fizz or something like that, even a Fizz who has, I believe Fizz has some... Oh, no. Okay, so Fizz doesn't actually have the on-hit over time anymore. Or does he? I don't... No, he just does the magic damage over time, right? Yeah. So Fizz just does the magic damage over time. So even Fizz, another champion with magic damage on his auto attack, 20 damage over 3 seconds, or 20 damage on every auto attack. Well, assuming you can attack maybe twice every 3 seconds, that's giving Kassadin an advantage. So, in combination with his magic damage passive and his magic damage on hit, he was able to actually start bullying out definitely the other melee AP champions. Now, some of them could bully through him, like Silas, well, basically just Silas, actually. But between his magic shield, the magic damage reduced taken, the magic damage on hit, he was bullying, like, all these champions. And in fact, it was actually so bad that he could start, not all the time, but often, you would see Kassadin get those janky solo kills on a Zed or something, and everyone always type, how do you die to a Kassadin in lane? Well, because he afflicted a 0.7 AP ratio, another 0.8 AP ratio, another 0.8 AP ratio, 0.1 AP ratio per hit. All this damage coming out is actually not low damage for a supposed late game champion. Now, let's just, I want to keep this in perspective to you guys. Syndra, the lane bully, Syndra, I want to find the wiki, there we go. The lane bully Syndra has a 70 damage, so the 5 more damage than Kassadin, but a lower AP ratio. So at 100 AP, this damage was actually equaled out. A lot of people didn't know that. Now, that's obviously a lot of AP, but then Kassadin has good damage on his W, then Kassadin has good damage on his E, and look at Syndra, the lane bully here, 0.6, 0.7, that's lower, 0.6, that's lower. No damage per hit. Now, granted, Kassadin is melee, so he does need some sort of sustained damage to be viable, correct? But my point here, is that for a supposed late game champion, he was bizarrely tanky between these two things. Bizarrely tanky and bizarrely damaging for this, again, supposed late game champion. Kassadin is too strong in lane, especially against melee champions. So, even Riot got it right for once. Yes, Kassadin was too strong in lane. So, they are nerfing the base damage on his W by 20, which should hopefully finally compensate for his massive AP ratios, so he shouldn't actually have normal base damage, because that's a fucky wucky that the champion had slightly lower numbers, but then was given such high AP ratios that it actually made up for it. Yeah, and then the reduced magic damage This is good too, because here's something a lot of people didn't know. Kassadin is 2,361 health at 18. That is a fucking lot of HP. That is higher than almost every tank and bruiser. In fact, I'm going to go check it out. Let's look this up. This puts Kassadin at the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9th highest health champion in the game at level 9th highest health champion at level 18. Combine that with the 15% reduced magic damage taken. Combine that with the magic shield. And yes, Kassadin scaled way too well. And remember, mages pretty much one-shot everyone. You ever play a late game 6,000 health Cho with 250 magic resist and you die to an Evelyn? Yeah, so everyone dies to a mage late game. Mages are just, their items scale too well. But my point is that Kassadin often was practically as tanky as a goddamn tank in the late game against mages. Now, he would still die, because everyone dies to mages late game, but it was kind of fucked up that, like, Syndra needed to land her entire combo plus ult, and all Kassadin needed to do was, like, QWE. So Syndra needed to land every single ability against a champion with a 2-second cooldown on a fucking dash. Yeah. Anyway, good nerf. But here's my thoughts. It will not be enough. Kassadin is currently a 55% win rate because the dumbasses at Riot decided to buff Archangel's Staff, his best item, by lowering it by 400 gold. These nerfs do not go far enough. Not even slightly. What Kassadin actually needs, his ult cooldown should be 5, 4, 3. He should be nerfed at level 11, definitely. In fact, it should potentially just be 5 flat or some shit. Like maybe 5, 4.5, 4. Like, this champion scales so fucking well. He is actually, even with this nerf, he'll be weaker in the laning phase, but 20 damage isn't going to make him incapable of early shit, right? So he'll be weaker, but not incapable. And then once he gets level 6, he already has a crazy strong ultimate with 80 base damage. Remember, most ultimates have about 100 to 200 base damage. His is a 5-second cooldown with 80, plus a mana ratio, plus it stacks, potentially up to 240. So I'm just going to compare this. Let's compare this to Orianna's. In fact, let's not even compare it to Orianna's ult. Let's look at one of the highest damage ultimates in the game. The highest damage ult in the game is a 4, is this 4? A billion orb Syndra ult. Plus base damage is 630. So the highest damage ult, I believe this is the highest damage ult, other than, no, I think this is higher damage than Sion. Highest damage ult in the game is 630. Kassadin comes out to 240, but remember, it also has that mana ratio that adds on a lot of damage that a lot of people don't realize. So, in my opinion, that would about equal 2 Kassadin ults would equal a, and this, by the way, just to be sure, this never happens. Just so everyone's aware, this never happens. You never reach maximum damage Syndra ult, okay? So, yes, Kassadin at level 6 could match the highest damage ultimate in the game by stacking his Rift Walk and using it twice. Now, I know what you're going to say. Hashinshin, that's impossible. He would never be able to do that. Well, between his W, between Presence of Mind, between Tear of the Goddess, surprisingly more common than you would think for a late game champion. And remember, Syndra gets to use it once. That's it, once. 2-minute cooldown, she gets one shot at it. And in order to reach this, she has to Q 4 times. She needs 4 orbs next to her. Have you ever seen a Syndra do that? No! Anyway, so, yes, looking at the stats, a 55% win rate champion, and let's just be clear, as of last patch, he was 54%. So last patch, he needed to be nerfed, not buffed. Now he's buffed. Maybe he'll be back down to where he was. This champion needed a significant nerf and has needed one for a very long time. This is a good nerf, but I don't think this is going to be nearly enough. Lux. Okay, so here's the problem with Lux. Lux is, I'll go show you guys real quick. She's the highest pick rate support by far, with a very high win rate at the lower ranks. Lux support is very, very, very broken at the low ranks. Lux mid is very, 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 very broken at the low ranks. At Masters Plus, Lux is still, I mean, we're not looking at that high of games, only 1,300 games. But we still see a good pick rate and a high win rate. If we go down, let's say Diamond Plus, we see Lux, good win rate, good pick rate still. So, Lux particularly dominates the lower ranks with an extremely high pick rate and win rate, and she's still doing very good into the high ranks with a good win rate, average pick rate. Lux is overpowered. Sorry to say, but yes, she cannot exist as this powerful of a champion. Even as kawaii ugu uwu as she is, she needs to be nerfed. So what they did last time, and I'm gonna look this up for you guys real quick. Let me close all these tabs. What they did last time was and I'll just look at the patch history here. They buffed her AP ratio on her AoE and then buffed the base damage. Now what that does, obviously, is it gives her more damage. We all get that, right? And then they reduced the cooldown on Final Spark. Did they really buff her this hard? Really? I do not remember them buffing her this hard. Holy shit. They gave her attack speed and buffed her passive and buffed her E and buffed her ultimate? Well, no shit! Okay, yeah, sure. Yeah, so I guess I only remembered the E buff. Between all these buffs, yeah, I guess she got overpowered. So they're nerfing the base damage on her Q and then nerfing the cooldown on her Q. It no longer scales down. It's now 11 at all ranks. Because Lux's Q, if it hits you, even most of the time level 6 plus if she has Ignite, but late game definitely, if her Q hits you, you're basically dead. So, for those of you Lux mains, the cooldown on your ult is going down from 80 to 60, but the cooldown on your Q is going up level 8 forwards, because I'm pretty sure Lux players always max E first. And that means you'll be able to get more ults, but you will get less roots to go for ults. Do you get that? So, yeah. And they're nerfing her E damage a little bit. Does that compensate for the... No, so her E damage got buffed by 10, and her Q damage is going down by 20, but only at max rank. So overall, this has been a significant early game buff for Lux, and now they're about equaling out what they did to her late game. Yeah, so realistically, Lux's power level... it was up all game. Throughout the entire game, she was stronger, but now it's going to be about equal in the late game, but a bit stronger in the early game. Do you guys get that? So between these two changes, so since 11.20, she now has a stronger early game, but the same strength late game. Olaf. So this is something that is the dumbest shit I've ever seen. When they decided to go for the nerf on Olaf, they decided to nerf his passive. His passive gave him 0 to 100% attack speed based on missing health. Does everybody know that? So let's scroll down. When did they buff his passive? Can anyone tell me? Can anyone tell me when they buffed his passive to 100% attack speed at low level? Let's look. Let's look here. Okay, we're back to Season 7, Season 6... Season 5, Season 4, Season 3, Season... That's a rework. Okay, we're back in Season 2, Season 1. And he's added to the game. Oh! Oh, it was the same since he was fucking added in Season 1? And they nerfed it? What a shock! So they're reverting that because that was one of the dumbest fucking changes they've ever done. Now look, if they gave him some compensation or something else, but to nerf the only aspect of the champion that has never been changed since Season 1, potentially his most identifiable attribute. The thing, when I think Olaf, I think, oh god, it's low health Olaf, I haven't killed him, he's going to murder me. And when they nerfed that, that basically killed the champion to me. I don't even give a shit if they made him viable. It would be like if they took Tryndamere and were like, yeah, we're going to nerf the duration on his ult. Now, okay, maybe that one would be a bit more reasonable because damage has gone up so high lately. But with Olaf, this one is just, this is a fucking core feature. Low health Olaf kills you. You nerf that, that's his thing. So they're bringing it back. Unfortunately, Olaf is still dead. He's definitely out of top line, I can tell you that. And yeah, he's a 46% win rate, 1% pick rate jungler at Diamond Plus. And that's when he typically does best. He's 46% win rate and 0.9% win rate at Plat Plus. Yeah, this champion's dead. Let me actually give you some suggestions here. If Riot ever watches my videos, and I know this because buff Olaf's armor per level a little bit, maybe, so he doesn't cap out at 86. I know the whole thing is that he gets armor from his ult, then he pops his ult and he's supposed to be squishy or whatever. The problem is that this ultimate was supposed to make him tanky, and it doesn't really make him tanky anymore. 126 armor at level 18 is not really even that big a deal. Alternatively, you could buff the bonus resistances. I know they did. They used to be 10 to 30. Now they're 20 to 40. Maybe buff them like 20 to 50, 20 to 60. I don't know. Maybe even like make his Q or in E. Maybe make his Q and E, their animations, a bit faster as you get more attack speed. Because as anyone who's ever played Olaf has noted, you needed to very much... Okay. Riven players love to bitch about how much they need to animation cancel. The amount Olaf needs to animation cancel is actually super fucked up. If you've ever played Olaf, you need to auto attack. In the middle of your auto attack, press W because you want to maximize the uptime on your W. Then you need to cancel that auto attack, likely into a Q. Then you need to slightly move forwards during your Q to cancel the end of it, to then press an E, then cancel out of the E into an auto attack, then move forwards again to pick up your Q, then start an auto attack, then start your Q, then move forwards to pick up your Q, then start an auto attack, then use your E, then move forwards again to pick up your Q, then throw... So, in the later stages of the game, once you start getting very high attack speed from ranks in his W, from just attack speed per level, from his passive and all that shit, these animations start hard restricting his animations really hard. And I'm not saying you need to like double the speed, but maybe something where like their animation time is reduced per level. Yeah. Anyway, yeah, this champion's still gonna suck ass. Let's just be clear. Let's just be clear. Twitch jungle players are doing better than Olaf, who is made for the jungle, who can only jungle. Olaf can only jungle, and he does it worse than Twitch. Yeah, this isn't fixing that. He needs something else. I would like it if they made him a bit tankier, maybe. Maybe he gets more health per level. I think, clearly, early game junglers have power creeped really hard, and while this definitely does help his early game jungle, again, so maybe he can start dueling Xin Zhao and such. The problem is he scales so poorly that I really think they should tone up his late game a bit. That would also help him top lane a little bit. I think Olaf top would be fun to have back. That would be neat. Maybe buff the 80 ratio on his E. I don't know. Anyway, Pike. So Pike is Pike doing bad? I haven't really seen much Pike. He's down here at 48% win rate. That's Plat Plus, 50% Masters Plus, though. All ranks, 47%. Okay, so this is a... Yeah, I actually really didn't think he was that bad, to be honest with you. Yeah, I guess just at the lower ranks he's not playable. So this is kind of like a Riven style buff where he's fine, but the lower rank people are struggling to make him playable. So they're saying he's a bit weak right now. Well, no, he's not. Yeah, that's the other thing. For the guys in chat, yeah, the Conqueror Nerf and the Gore Drinker Nerf fucking exploded this champion. Let's just be clear. He's suffering the same fate that HOTFIX did. He didn't have a late game. Gore Drinker and Conqueror kind of gave him a late game. Then they nerfed the Spite passive entirely off Gore Drinker, nerfed Conqueror's late game, and, well, now he's back to not having a late game. So, he's playable at, like, level 1, 2, and 3. Then he starts falling off, and then he never gets back in the game. Yeah. Shockingly, Olaf and HOTFIX, who tended to stay at low health drain tanking, when you nerf Conqueror and you remove the Spite passive off Gore Drinker, they go, and... Okay, so Pike. Okay. Well, I actually was wondering... If there are 2 or more visible enemy champions nearby. Yeah, okay. So, I was a bit confused because they say health regen near allies, but on this it says if there are 2 or more visible enemy champions nearby. Did they... I don't think my camera's fucked up, guys. Did they fuck up the patch notes? It should be health regen near enemies, right? I mean, I'm not crazy, am I? This says if there are 2 or more visible enemy champions nearby. So it's increased to 35% if there are 2 or more visible enemy champions nearby. So this is health regen near allies. That's not how it works, right? This is how Pike mid is still somewhat kindable, playable. Not really, but still somewhat kindable. You don't need an ally, you need 2 enemies. That's also why he can do some janky escape plays and stuff. So, yeah, I think they honestly just fucked up this passive. Yeah. Whatever. Then his Bone Skewer gained 15 damage. Once again, let's look at the Pike is 47% at all ranks, but at Masters Plus, as a 9th highest pick support with 2,000 games, he has a 50%. So he's gonna be up here, I suspect, with Karma in being that sort of, yeah, he's overpowered forever from now on, but much like Karma, where the fuck is Karma? Yeah, much like Karma, he's going to be weaker at the low rank. So if you imagine he's going to get a 1 or maybe 2% pick rate off this, his stats will be pretty much the same as Karma. Where, yeah. Yep, it'll pretty much be the same kind of, I mean, he'll have a much higher pick rate, probably because he's more fun, but yeah, it'll be the same problem Karma has. She's permanently overpowered at the high ranks and then permanently weak at the low ranks. That's what they're doing for Pike. If you want me to be blunt, they should have buffed his late game then, because the lower ranks tend to go into the late game more often. I know they're afraid of buffing his late game because of mid Pike, but let's be honest, mid lane is full of so many super toxic bullshit champions right now. Vex, Yone, Kassadin, Victor. I don't think a roamer like Pike can fit into this meta anymore. He would get blown the fuck out. So I think they should have buffed his late game. That way he wouldn't be so dominant at the lower ranks. Talon jungle has been a nightmare in high elo. You think? You think giving the premier roaming kill champion the ability to jungle might make him overpowered? This is like, okay, oh my fucking god. Guys, this is like, imagine for a second, you have like a fucking wolf, right? And you have a fence. And the other side of the fence is your sheep. You got the fence, and the fence is the mid lane. He has to go mid lane. So he needs to clear mid lane. He needs to lane against somebody, and he needs to find a way over that fence into the sheep. The sheep being mid or top most of the time. Or top or bot. So he wants to get through the fence. Think of the fence is mid lane. He wants to get over that fence into bot lane or over that fence into top lane. Okay? So the fence keeps these lanes safe. He still has to lane. He still needs to wave clear, right? Now imagine Riot says, let's put Talon in the sheep. So they put him in the jungle. So now he can gank anyone, anywhere, at any time, using the extremely overpowered jungle to just be permanently ganking anyone. He no longer has any weakness that he is supposed to have. Well, this made him broken. So rather than remove Talon jungle, which they need to do, they're just toning down the monster damage multiplier. Let's go to Challenger. I want to show you guys something. If you go to Challenger and you go to Jungle, last patch, there's still 3,300 Challenger games, right? 51.75% win rate, second highest pick rate. Now, when you look at some of these champions, Viego, Lee Sin, these champions are just extremely popular. They're just really fucking popular. Lee Sin is like one of the most popular champions ever of all time. Potentially the most popular champion ever. Viego is just really goddamn popular because, in my opinion, he's overpowered. The fact that Talon is up here, not because he's popular, but just because he's dominating the fucking game, is odd. So, yeah. For Varus, what they are doing... We're buffing Varus where they focus on his non-lethality builds and also taking an opportunity to buff his AP off build. So what they're doing here is they're saying, hey guys, we still don't want to put any work into Varus. I know we've been shuffling his builds around for the last 7 years. We're going to continue to do that. And that's it. That's all they're doing. They're not going through and addressing lethality Varus versus crit Varus. They're not trying to merge the two so that you can maybe do crit Varus that still actually uses his Qs properly. No, they're just going, fuck it, let's just fuck with Varus again. Why? I don't fucking know. Where even is Varus? I think he's probably down here, right? No one plays this shitter anymore. Yeah, okay, so he's all the way down to 27th highest pick bot laner at Challenger. If we even look at Plat Plus, he's down there at 20. So, yeah, he's not popular. He's not popular. And they don't really give a shit about making him popular. Oh, right, here's my opinion on Talon. I think he's still going to be overpowered. I think he'll be less overpowered. I think he'll still be overpowered. Maybe we're going to see, like a 0.5% drop in his win rate would be lenient. Varus, so the attack speed duration as passive is going from 5 flat to 5, 7, 9, 11. 11 is high. I don't really know what's up with that one. That basically means if he kills a single champion, he gets attack speed for the entire rest of the team fight, right? That's like a really big buff, but it's a really big buff on something that's not really that interesting. Yeah, so he can get 40% attack speed plus 30% attack speed multiplier if he scores a takedown against a champion for basically the rest of the team fight. That's just weird. I don't know. It's like a really big buff to something that nobody's really that excited about. It would be like if... God, I can't really think of any modern champions who have shit that's that not exciting. Do any champions just have aspects of their kit that no one gives a shit about? That nobody really cares? Because this is just like such a I don't give a shit aspect of his kit. Whatever. And then they're buffing Blighted Quiver's AP ratio. The base damage isn't being touched. It's only the AP ratio is going up. Whatever. So for Vayne, they decided to not nerf her. Unfortunately, you can see here, Vayne is doing very well in top lane. She is utterly dominant in bot lane. Where's Vayne at? God, I'm like blind today or some shit. Oh, there we go. So even into Masters Plus, she's still very powerful, totally dominant. Just on anything other than like challenger games, Vayne absolutely shreds. At all ranks, literally not a single champion goes positive into her anymore. She, even at top lane, here's all ranks. Yeah, so Vayne's good in top lane at every single rank, even into Masters. She's unbeatable in bot lane at all ranks. She only falls off in Challenger. So what Riot decided to do was not nerf her, actually. Weirdest thing. They just decided they were going to list her name, but then not actually give her a nerf. Which I've never actually seen them do in a patch note before. So, yeah, just didn't decide to nerf Vayne. Okay, so Glacial Augment is getting a Mega Ultra buff. The AP ratio is the same, the AD ratio is the same, but the heal and shield power ratio is going, instead of 7% per 10% heal and shield power. So if you have 10% heal and shield power, you get 7% more slow. If you have 20%, you get 14% more slow. It's now 9%. So if you have 10% heal and shield power, you get 9% more slow. If you have 20%, then you get 18% more slow. So Glacial Augment got buffed. So we can see 2 more bug fixes on Talon. Fix the bug where killing a target with Talon's ranged Noxian Diplomacy would not grant its cooldown refund. Fixed a bug where repeatedly casting Talon's melee Noxian Diplomacy would sometimes cancel his next auto attack. So he's getting 2 bug fixes that are likely going to cancel out the nerf to Talon anyway. Fixed a bug where if Skarner immediately attacked a champion marked by his E fracture, it would not consume its crystal venom mark. Isn't that kind of like a very big bug? Yeah. Talon at the lowest pick rate, lowest win rate jungle. For those of you guys who aren't reading this properly, this is a bug where if you marked someone with Skarner's E, and I heard about this. So if you hit someone with Skarner's slow, that then when you auto attack them, it stuns them. If you hit them with your slow, then immediately attack them, it wouldn't proc the stun, allowing them to then get away from you. It is such a massive bug. How is that not hotfixed within like 5 hours? Well, probably because he's the lowest pick. Well, he's the lowest pick jungle because nobody wants to fucking play a piece of shit, do they? What's his pick rate at all ranks? 3rd lowest. Other than Wukong and Malphite jungle. So yeah, the lowest. Fucking Teemo jungle is beating him out. Oh my god. Okay, yeah, so holy shit. Could you imagine being a fucking Skarner main and having to deal with that bullshit? What the fuck? No, seriously, imagine being a fucking Skarner main and your main ability, your E-stun, just doesn't fucking work for a week. A week. Okay, so that's the entire patch notes. Yep. Oh, I'm glad that a week ago we managed to patch in some ultimate spellbook and ARAM balances. This was what was important. Not the fact that Skarner didn't fucking work! Leave that to next month! Shit, why do we even need to hotfix it? No one fucking plays him. Oh my god. Okay, so, yep, that's it. There's a patch. It's not like there's any skins to go over or anything like that. Let's take questions. If you guys have any questions, I will take them real quick for the end of this video. And then we'll be done. And then I'll probably go play Legends of Runeterra on my variety channel. But for those of you who are watching this in the future, you can also subscribe to my variety channel. The description has the link to it. Skarner's barely even a champion? Yeah, basically. I mean, hold on. Let's actually look. Let's look last patch. So 2.3. This is before he even had that bug. Okay. Okay. This is actually fair. 20% of Skarner mains quit him because of that bug. Yep, he went from 0.6 to 0.5% pick rate, guys. Don't worry. 80% of Skarner mains... Wait. He had a 50% win rate last patch. This patch he's down to 49%. Wait, dead ass? So all the fucking Skarner mains quit him. I shouldn't say all of them. 80%. Actually, the complete opposite of what I just said. 80% of Skarner mains were like, my champion doesn't fucking work? Nah, fuck it. I'll just keep playing him. What's the worst that can happen? Can I go over where Kiana is not getting a nerf? Because Riot decided to not nerf her. That's it. Is 100% Olaf attack speed is threat? No, I went over that. So let's go to this patch. Let's go to Plat Plus. We can see Olaf down here at 0.9% pick rate, 46% win rate. Yeah, that change is not bringing him back. They fucking turbo fucked Gore Drinker and Conqueror. He's not coming back. He's dead. That change will not bring him back. They're going to have to do an actual buff, not just revert some nerfs or some shit like that. No nerf on Shield Bow. No buff on Triforce or Gore Drinker. Well, once again, that's just because Riot didn't buff or nerf them. There's no... Guys, there's no rhyme or reason. There's no law they have to obey. If they don't want to, they don't have to. They don't have to do shit. Riot can come out and buff Shield Bow next patch. What are you going to say to me? Why did they buff Shield Bow? Because they wanted to. Is Gwen really that much worse with lethal tempo than Conqueror? That's surprising. I would have to look it up, but it's because... I would assume if what they're saying is true. If what they're saying is true, I would assume... Yeah, it does look true. I would assume it's... Oh, it's very much true. In fact, if we go... How many picks does she have here? Okay, so she only has 1,000 matches at Masters. Let's not look at that. Let's look... Okay, so we got 5,700 matches in Diamond Plus. And when we look at that... Lethal Tempo has a 3% lower win rate than Conqueror. A little bit, well, double the pick rate. So they're a little bit closer than you'd probably imagine. It's instead of 3%, it's maybe 1 to 2%, but still a noticeable amount. I assume that's because Gwen already has good attack speed and she uses her abilities a lot, and her abilities have pretty good AP ratios. And remember, Conqueror for AP champions is still way better than Conqueror for AD champions because the adaptive formula is still extremely favored towards AP. Remember, you get 60% of adaptive as AD, but you get 100% of adaptive to AP, which, in my opinion, is actually not a fair formula. What do I think of Akali right now? I don't know if it's opinion. Where is Zed Jungle nerf? I don't think Zed Jungle's taking off. I think it's strong, but it's more annoying than strong. Yeah, I mean, lower win rate 16th highest pick rate. I don't think that's really going anywhere. I mean, I could look at Masters Plus to see if there's some, like... I mean, very low win rate. Higher pick rate, so... At Masters Plus, I would believe people at least have an idea of what they're doing. But that's still a pretty low pick rate. Or, sorry, pretty low win rate. Let's turn to go to Darius, Conqueror. Lethal Tempo doesn't scale on Darius. It's like really good early game for cheesing people out, but it doesn't scale. I tried it a few times, and it's like really funny to get massive attack speed Darius, particularly because with Lethal Tempo, okay, what a lot of people don't know is Darius's attack range was 125. During the rework, they made it 175 because, you know, he already kind of swung wide anyway. So not all the attacks made sense, particularly the one where he slices upwards looks a bit janky, but it kind of fit, right? But then they gave his W an additional 50 range. So he does a spin attack at his feet and it hits 225 range. That one looks a little janky. But then with Lethal Tempo, you get another 50 range, so you get 275 range. So Aatrox kind of starts swinging at you like a fucking samurai master from an anime, and he just goes like, huh, and the attack goes nowhere near you, but his fucking passive damage and the bleed hit you, and you're like, ah, and you get like fucking hit by the wind, and like the fucking explosion from like his ki energy hits you, and yeah, okay, that's funny, but yeah, Conqueror is actually better. In fact, I can probably prove that right now. Yeah, Lethal Tempo, it's not as bad as I thought it was, but Conqueror gets, a consistently higher win rate and pick rate as you go up the ranks, if you saw that. So, yeah, I would say Lethal Tempo is not unplayable. It's pickable into the right matchup. Pickable? But I would say Conqueror is distinctly better. I think Nocturne is better with the current Lethal Tempo or the older one. I have no idea. I don't play Nocturne. Why do people ban Zed so much? Because he's really annoying. No one really likes dying to a dude that misses every ability, auto attacks you twice and presses E, and then you explode into a fucking edgy shadow weeb bullshit. What's my been on Thresh? Is he still OP? I think Lulu is kind of taken over. And Lulu never gets nerfed, so... Oops. Anyway, I'm going to be done for now. So thank you all for watching. Thank you all for being here. This will, of course, be this will be left online for everybody to watch. In the meantime, I'm going to go over my Patreon supporters who... support these streams and make them viable, because this is a longer stream. I don't have time to edit. I'm just gonna read them all live. So, without further ado, you can subscribe to my Patreon for as low as $3. The link is in the description. And here we go. Okay, so thank you, Monica, Amiru, Blazing Rock, Bleed Master, Crash Pinho, Dion Desjarlai Willier, Granola, Guardian Lamartz, Jason Miller, Josiah Davila, Cockerly, Malice, Malrunner, Nathaniel Ward, Nathan Mark Tarangoy, Anyroy, Philemon Lantry, Sophisticated Fart, Destroy, William Agan, Cyrillic Russian guy. I'm going to call you Death Note 2010. Anti-Beta. Ben. British Mapper. Creador. Dengda. Daniel Fiala. Darkenslayer. Dark Lord Laser. Daisy Mew. Yagod. Fanaku. Phil Yuki. Geb the Square. Jamie Varela. Jaw 212. Kalphos Zeromar. Kata Jin. Naptrol, Louis Mao, PKZ, Scorpion, Samus, Squashed Player, Survivor 02, Take One, Tomato, Under, Uvo Plaja, Vanity Echoes. Thank you, everybody, for subscribing and supporting the channel. And never make sure to like the stream.